Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. All roads lead to Western independence. It is going to get worse. The premiers met today with Little Potato, and they are preparing for economic warfare against the United States of America using our oil and gas sector as leverage. Okay? We're going to watch a short clip here with Andrew Furey talking about the oil and gas sector in his province and oil exports in general. Danielle Smith met with the premiers virtually and had the meeting there. She is in the United States right now. I think she might be in Panama. She did not sign the Canada First Declaration, the game plan that they come up with today. It's kind of useless. All it is a piece of paper with a bunch of empty words on it right now. We'll have to wait and see if it's actually anything concrete. There is so many theories that are going on with this. I'll try to piece it together for you after we watch and get a little bit of backstory. Here is the Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, Andrew Furey. Check this out.
Furey, where are you on oil and gas exports from your province being used should we come to a trade war with the United States? Where are you on oil and gas exports?
Well, I've said all along, we need to be very united and very strategic in how, and very proportional in how we respond to any tariffs from the United States. I see energy as Canada's queen in this game of chess. We don't need to expose our queen too early. The opposition does need to know that the queen exists, but they don't need to know what we're going to do with the queen. So let's see what the tariffs actually are first and have a proportional, but let me be very clear, a strong response to the United States. We need to, in no way, shape, or form, let the urgency of this economic and fiscal crisis jeopardize our national identity nor our national unity.
Thank you.
There is no national unity. Canada is not a serious country. Ottawa, Quebec, and Ontario decide elections way before the East or the West even decides to vote. So they hold all the seats. They hold all the power. It is structured that way. It has always been structured that way from the very beginning. The East and the West, they feed Ottawa, they feed Ontario and Quebec, and the monopoly and the death grip that they hold all over Canada. If you don't believe me, just type it into Google, type in Canada, the illusion, and just watch a bazillion history videos on how Canada is just taped together by a bunch of drunks and elite families from Britain and the remnants that come up from the United States. I really like what the Premier of Saskatchewan said today, Scott Moe. He said, energy exports and doing anything with that is a terrible idea because our energy sectors are so integrated with the United States and our manufacturing. It would not help anybody. The only way you are ever going to deal with Donald Trump and these tariffs is to work out a deal that works for everyone. And Canada, because it is a monopoly and it sold off absolutely all of its assets, will come out the loser. And it's just because of terrible governance. All roads lead to Western independence. It should be obvious by now. Danielle Smith is working very closely with the Americans and her American counterparts. And same with Scott Moe. Now, what I think might happen, how this could play out, is the divide in Canada gets worse and worse and worse. Donald Trump goes after the automotive sector. He might start with that in Canada and really start pulling that back. They've done it in the past. And he'll do it when they start picking on Alberta because Donald Trump wants Alberta. Danielle Smith is a separatist. She knows that Alberta would be way better off if it was a 51st state or became its own entity with its own trade deals and ran an American currency. Now, this is if things get really bad in Canada, because then it is an easy way out and the obvious choice. And you know what? I'll show you something really quick here to back up my point. Denmark's prime minister Mette Frederiksen, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Denmark's prime minister reportedly told Donald Trump that Greenland's independence would be a decision for Greenland to make. Greenland has already said that they would love to be part of the United States. Why wouldn't they? It is such a strategic spot for the United States as well. So you think that when Greenland does it and has Americans there right off the coast of Newfoundland, you know that it puts Canada, it makes Canada extremely vulnerable. So at the same time, why wouldn't Alberta work out a similar deal? And by the way, the United States already has bills and the framework to secede other territories to welcome them into the United States, because that's how it was planned from the beginning. The Northwest Territories. All you have to do is Google this stuff. It is all out there. Here is the best premier in Canada, Danielle Smith. This is what she had to say today, right off the bat. Full statement, no Ottawa tariffs on Alberta energy exports. You can already see the rhetoric, and look at what's in the background. The American flag / Canadian flag. It's happening. I'm telling you. Danielle Smith says, I had a constructive discussion with my fellow premiers on how best to deal with the threat of tariffs from the incoming United States administration. We agreed on several strategies, and I look forward to continuing to work with them on this critical issue. However, federal government officials continue to publicly and privately float the idea of cutting off energy supply to the United States and imposing export tariffs on Alberta energy and other products to the United States. Until these threats cease, Alberta will not be able to fully support the federal government's plan in dealing with the threatened tariffs. Alberta will simply not agree to export tariffs on our energy or other products, nor do we support a ban on exports of these same products. We will take whatever actions are needed to protect the livelihoods of Albertans from such destructive federal policies. We also urge our entire nation to use this tariff threat as an opportunity to correct the misguided direction of this country. Exactly. And commence multiple infrastructure projects that focus on developing, upgrading, and exporting our oil, gas, and other natural resources instead of effectively landlocking them and keeping us fully reliant on one primary customer. She is talking about Energy East. For all of you out there that don't know, Alberta had plans to have pipelines going to Eastern Canada with a refinery in New Brunswick. Everybody was winning. We were going to start selling our oil to everybody else on Earth other than the United States, so we can diversify. Politicians in Ontario and Quebec said no, because they knew that New Brunswick would start rolling in the dough and wouldn't be reliant on Ottawa, and they knew that Alberta would be a huge, just another bigger asset, an oil and gas juggernaut asset for the rest of the world. And Alberta would grow. And it scares the daylights out of the Canadian monopoly family like the Trudeaus. Continuing on, I will be traveling to Washington, D.C. this week for the inauguration and will be returning to the United States several times over the coming months to meet with the United States lawmakers and officials to continue to make the case against the imposition of tariffs on Canadian products and to strengthen and grow the trading relationship between our two great and independent nations. Everybody has a reason to love Canada and want to be a part of Canada. When I talk with everyone about what it is to be Canadian, all of the answers are nostalgic. That Canada is long gone. Okay? Canada more represents a work colony versus a serious country. You go to a lot of the cities now and you would swear that they are India. It is so bad that Indians come here for school and they are let down because there isn't white people around anymore. It is unbelievable how quickly things have changed. And don't talk about our healthcare because it has collapsed. This is from today. Whoa, what's the long line in the cold and snow for? A physician setting up a new practice in Brockton, Ontario, said he'd take the first 500 patients who showed up. The line of people waiting years for a family doctor wrapped around the block. This is the reality of healthcare in Canada. You can't bring in over 2 million people and think that an already shitty system would be able to support this. And we were lied to by our politicians, by the way. We were told that these were all doctors, nurses, and engineers. For the first time ever, we have more doctors leaving Canada than coming to Canada. This is the reality of healthcare in Canada. It is gone. It is laying there dead.
This is just not what the medical healthcare system is supposed to be like in Ontario.
Got here about 5:30 and been on the Healthcare Connect list for about 10 years now.
10 fucking years. The healthcare system is dead. I don't ever want to hear about how Canada has free healthcare. It is the farthest thing from free. Oh, and by the way, Mark Carney, who grew up in Edmonton, will hold an event in the city on Thursday. So if you ever wanted to protest Mark Carney, now's the time to do it. You would do it in Edmonton on Thursday. Carney is expected to announce he's running to replace Justin Trudeau as the leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada. I highly urge everybody to support Chrystia Freeland because she deserves to get punished by voters, because Justin Trudeau announced today that he definitely is not going to run in the next election. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, follow me on Substack, Spotify, and YouTube. And above all, in these crazy, crazy times, you take care.